All right. We're back again with another episode of Red Hill Racing Podcast. I'm Ben Knight, here again with your co-host, Mr. Dustin Lee.
It's me again. I'm here.
I think I'm going to start saying Mr. 40 time.
You know, when I call DME, the girls always, when they answer the phone, I just say it's me again. And I done that. One day I just done it, and I knew that the person that answered the phone didn't sound like one of, Lisa or Angie, right. And it was Sadie, Demi's daughter, and she was like, I said, well, you're going to learn real quick that when I say it's me again, it's Dustin Lee. She goes, oh, okay, I know who you are. I was like, all right, we're good.
That brand name recognition.
Yeah, me again. But somebody actually called DME one time. This is weird to sound on a podcast, but they tried to order something under my name, and they was like, no, this ain't Dustin. They done knew because they didn't know the secret word, but now y'all that's listening knows the secret word.
Yeah, but not that many people can, no offense, copy.
They ain't got that hillbilly. That's right. You can imitate, but you can't duplicate, baby. That's it.
Oh, that's right. So I was just telling Dustin earlier, it's so funny. We might even talked about it on the first podcast. I tried to do the intro to this podcast, like originally by myself. And I mean, I stumbled through like 3 or 4 different attempts and just miserable, right? So quickly, Dustin and I learned that, we talk all the time. So it's just like us chilling, talking.
You just needed me to hold your hand like a fuel taker.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, yeah, but I need my good buddy 40 time to hold my hand through it. But I was just telling Dustin for the university win, I just tried to do last night a little intro video. And man, it was tough. I guess it's because I was looking at myself at the
I'm going to have to drive to Virginia. Simple as that.
I know. Like, we'll have to set the camera up and like have us like chilling on the couch or something, looking at each other because I can't look at the camera. Anyways,
stare into my eyes, you'll be fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, dude. And then like my eyes, I noticed like, I guess because I can't. It's hard to just look at yourself and I guess put that out of your mind. So like my eyes, I feel like we're darting all over the place. Like
you're just worrying too much, man.
No, yeah, it was like I was on crack or something.
Look, everybody here, everybody that's listening to us or whatever, even on the University of Win stuff, they've seen our ugly mugs. They know what we look like. Like there's nothing to be worried about. Like just send it.
Well, man, that's another
I would laugh the whole time because I'm like, look at this funny looking dude.
Well, that's another funny thing. I like came out to record last night and Tiffany's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to do like a little video for the school. And she's like, in that? I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, just in that hoodie you're wearing? I'm like, I mean, yeah. She's like, well, that doesn't look very professional. And that's what I told her. I was like, well, I mean, I feel like anybody that signs up
they better be careful. Darnell might do one of them videos,
But I was like, I feel like anybody that's going to sign up for the school, like
they've seen us at our worst, right? They've seen us at our best, right? Exactly.
Anyways, I was like, all right.
I mean, I'll roll up in there with a piece of straw in my mouth and a straw hat on, some bibs. We'll get it done, son.
Oh man. Anyways, just that's
we got to do our laundry duties real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Got a shout out to all our awesome sponsors and supporters. Just gonna go down the list. We appreciate everything they do. They're basically keeping this thing going, that in the subscriptions, and we had a ton of new signups over the last week, so we appreciate y'all for signing up. Hopefully y'all are understanding, getting the word out about these giveaways because we got a lot of great giveaways still to come up with. So anyways, without further ado, BMF Components, University of Win, Energy Coil, Night Marketing Group, Hard Times Parts and Service, Montgomery Motorsports, Manchester Mines, Platinum General Services, MTC Engineering, Penske Racing Shocks, MPS Racing, and last but certainly not least, Worldwide Bearings. So shout out to us. Woo, there we go. I was wondering when they were coming back. I needed some sound effects in my life. So thank you to our sponsors. They're, like I said, they're responsible for the giveaways mostly, and getting this thing running. As I said, we appreciate everybody that's supporting with the subscriptions and hope y'all are enjoying the giveaways. And that brings us up. We have a listener who is contributing.
My homie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jody Adams. He really wanted to do, I'll just come
Yeah.
out. He
Tell him.
wanted to give free entries to Street ET, two of them,
But for
but it was
SDBA.
for SDBA, right? So we was like, well, everybody that's listening might not run that series, and it kind of might just come to like a dead stop. So he decided to do 4 Hard Times T-shirts. We're not going to do those this week, but we're going to pull 2 winners for him next week, and then
Yes.
we'll do 2, a little bit later, and somebody's going to get some free T-shirts from a listener and a friend and a customer of mine. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So shout out to Jody. We appreciate the support. He just wanted to throw us some love and basically, he's paying for that stuff and just more giveaways for y'all.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
got
no,
it. Go
he's
ahead.
buying the shirts for
Yeah.
exactly what they cost to buy them. He just wants to do something for the podcast. He's liking them, and he's a really good friend of mine and a good customer of mine, and really just wants to help.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it.
And Dustin can vouch. I did personally pay for the T-shirts when I got all excited and a little liquored up on the More Mafia
Yeah, yeah,
podcast.
yeah, yeah. There's still quite a few, so I need to probably send you some alcohol or something.
Good way
Back
for
to
me
where we're
just
broke,
Yeah, shell out money. Hey, one last thing. I had a little bit more laundry duty. I don't think we've done it yet. So NSFW, not safe for work. We're gonna drop some curses
Yeah,
probably eventually.
yeah,
We try
maybe
not to. We try not to. It really
it
depends on
happens.
how excited we get. I know that's what it is with
Yeah, I
me.
mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I've had a pretty stressful past 2 weeks.
You
This
and
week
me
has been
both.
extra special, like stressed out, and I might be grumpy. I'm trying not to be, but I might be. I'm
Yeah.
trying to zone it out for the podcast, but I'm literally, when me and Ben got on this together, he heard me typing. I'm still working, and I didn't go to bed last night till 3. I actually packed orders because I couldn't sleep, and then I got up at 7. So I only eat 1 time a day, which is not much for a fat person. It's just I'm just tired, I'm just built up, ready just to pop.
we
Got a sore
care
neck.
we care about the listeners and we're here for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
um
I need to go run some laps around the house to get rid of some tension. It's
that
cold here though right
it's
now, so
damn, it's cold up here too.
yeah.
Yeah, Dustin and I, he'll vouch too. Like the last week, maybe 2 weeks, me and him have just honestly, we don't have a strict topic tonight for a couple reasons. And the main reason is just we've been so damn busy and
Oh, the
we
first topic we're going to talk about though
well,
is what
yeah.
I say. What I say.
Well, hold on, but we just been, man, it's one thing after another. And I'll get to my horrific horror stories in a
Well,
minute. But anyways,
you made another whole website basically. Ben
damn
had
it,
to
I'm
burn one
shaking
down
my
and
head.
start another one.
I'm about to burn something down. That's for sure. I was gonna go to drive to a undisclosed location. Anyways, we'll get to
To
that.
make you feel better, it does look better now. I think it looks
Thank you. I
better than it did
appreciate it.
before.
You know
So
what? We're just gonna get right into that. So my issue started last week because, as y'all know, I've been working hard on the University of Win. I told Dustin, I said, you're going to be a part of it. I need your help, but I'm going to make it turnkey. Your job, Dustin, is to help with, answering
to help
questions.
you talk.
Yeah, and respond to people. So, I think Dustin even mentioned on the one episode, he's been hands off as I've been building the website and getting the content together, creating them, so on
Yeah.
and so forth. Well, I had this
Yeah.
smart idea, and now I'm just going to get this out in the open too. While I have created and built some websites, like I'm not a coder. So if you know anything about websites, like, I guess if you're super smart and talented and you can like code, you can like create, from scratch. But, I use templates and work with some of the more
It
popular
looks like the
things.
Matrix numbers flying across the screen. Let's just
Like
be
that's
real.
not me. Well,
Yeah.
no, that's not me. But there are some
Yeah.
people. But I've done a lot with Shopify and Wix. So anyhow, I told Dustin, I was like, I'm gonna, save me some time. I'm gonna see if I can, get a subcontractor, to build out the template for the site. Like I know exactly what I want. I'm not sure I can do it right. I told you I'm not sure Shopify or Wix will do everything I want. Long story short, put up a post. What is that? It's circus music.
Well, it was my alarm for a notification to
Oh, I thought
enter
it
the
was sound effects.
SDBA shootouts about 3 days or 4 days ago.
Oh wow, well that's late.
It was just set as every day. So
I thought you were putting like circus music, like get on with it.
no, I mean I got this stuff muted, but I don't know how it even done that.
Nah, don't worry about it. So yeah, I put up this ad. Just gonna tell y'all, set a budget of $1,000, had a bunch of people apply for it, sorted through it really quickly, trying to give you all a short version. Had a meeting with a guy who has like a marketing company out in Kentucky, and it all sounded good with the exception that he proposed doing it on a WordPress platform. Well, I've dealt with that a little bit, but minimal. And I told him my biggest concern was, not understanding it well enough and basically just getting frustrated. So fast forward, I mean, dude, man, he did what he said. I can't say that he didn't do what he was paid to do, but he kind of said he was going to be super helpful after the fact, and that kind of disappeared quickly. So without boring y'all,
he got them dollars and said, "Peace out."
Yeah, without boring y'all too much longer. Last
Yeah,
Thursday
I'm bored.
night, I know. Bear with me. Hey, this is content. This is content.
I guess.
Last Thursday night. Hey, it'll make me feel better, if nothing else.
Get it out, sweetheart.
I know. I started trying to figure out some issues I was having with the website. Well, after I bought this license for some other application, blah blah blah, went to fix the application that was causing me issues, to turn around and see that 20% of the website was gone. Well, I was getting ready to just lose my shit. And needless to say, I woke up the next day, Friday morning, and I just furiously started researching, which apparently I didn't do good enough beforehand. And basically, here we are, 5 days later, and I built a completely new website because the other one is in the garbage now. So, that being said,
don't you wish you could kick it,
man,
punch
I wish. Yeah, I wish. Have you ever seen Office Space?
Oh, I know what you wish you could do. Chunk it real good, like Shane did.
Like who?
Shane Stubbs at XDA that time. He chunked that. He chunked a bad cool. He chunked it. That's what you wish you could just chunk it.
Have you ever seen Office Space, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, the part where they take the printer that's always giving them trouble out in the field and just bash it with baseball. That I wish I could have something physical of the website, the other website that I paid $1,000 for, and just smash it.
It's in Kentucky.
Trust me, Tiffany's like, you can't, you're not gonna, because I was like, well, I was livid anyways. All right. So that being said, tomorrow, well, actually, technically, when y'all are listening to this. So this Tuesday night, Tiffany said, don't talk about the days. Anyways, it's important. We're recording on Tuesday nights. That's pretty normal for us. This will launch tomorrow, Wednesday, but when you're listening to it, so tonight, Wednesday night, we're going to have a Zoom call to go over the school if you're interested. It's free, just whatever, download Zoom, and we're going to email out links or message me. And then at 8:40, that's at 8 o'clock, and at 8:45, I'm going to do a Facebook Live. I'm not exactly sure what all I can share or show on Facebook Live, but if nothing else, I'll just go over the school there.
And just to be clear, I probably won't be involved in the live, and I may or may not be in the Zoom thing. We don't know yet. I'm not sure. Depends on what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, depends on
I'm going to try to be.
Goes. But,
I mean, I might have to run some laps or something, which would be good for me.
Like I said, and when you're listening to this, it'll basically be tonight. So
same day. When you hear this, it's going to happen. Yeah.
So if you're interested in the school, tune in. So
yeah.
All right, let's jump on.
Can I go?
Yeah, because we made some bold predictions last week.
What'd I say?
You was right. My man
if you don't live under a rock, you already know at Gator Nationals, Hollywood Herrera showed out.
Showed up and showed out.
He showed out like he did. The only thing he struggled at was interviews.
Man, be easy on Gage. He's a man of few words.
I was texting him like, man, everything was gravy except the interviews. He goes, man, they're just so hard. I was like, hey.
See, that's what I was saying. Like,
the only thing he has to worry about is thanking his Vance and Hines Mission Food Suzuki team. That's it. Yeah. That's all he has to worry about. That's all he has to say.
I'm going to go to the races and hold up signs behind the interviewer. Give him a prompt.
It would have been great to see him. I don't know what to do with my hands and just hold his hands up.
I would have for real tried to do some shit like that and just slowly start pushing my hands
But
up.
He did know what to do with his hands because he was holding up a number one and a Wally because he got it done. Now,
that's right.
Saying that, some of our predictions, Chase was killing it. They had a motor issue. They had to swap them up. Barely made it when they got up there.
They
Apparently, it
were
was
they were in the like other
semis,
pairs
right?
were well the other like there were you could hear motorcycles going down the track when they were leaving the trailer. I
Yeah,
saw a
they showed
video.
up late,
Yeah.
right?
Like
And they made it, and NHRA seemed to kind of push them and work with them, which was cool. I watched that little video too, and Angie, not really surprised. Something to do with Matt Smith was there, but then the really impressive thing for me, and me and you didn't even mention, is Gianna.
oh, 100%. I'm glad you brought that up. Man, she has
Outstanding job.
improved a ton. A ton.
Completely different rider. Like she looks like she like just turned into someone else. Like Matt done an outstanding job. And
Yeah, I was really excited to see that. I'm glad you brought that up. I meant to tell you I wanted to talk about that, but
yeah,
I mean, look, I'll fully admit,
we were going by numbers and statistics, or however you say that word. I'm a hillbilly, but
yeah.
um, like our predictions was off of
Arr.
our past. Our predictions was off the past, numbers that we had, other than Gage. But we done. I knew. I mean, I guess you don't want to say I knew. I had a feeling. I feel like that. You take a lot of people don't really probably even maybe not know this that listens, but Gage races his own pro street bike, which is fast, and he also builds his own motors. He wires bikes. He's wired mine. He's mechanic, like he welds. And then you take someone and you like that, and you put them on a motorcycle on one of the top teams. What else could be better? Like it can't get no better. Like it's
Yeah.
like and obviously now, do I think they're going to have it as easy as they did this weekend the rest of the year? Absolutely not. I mean, in the last year, Angel was number one qualifier at the Gators, I'm pretty sure. So they have good
Wasn't it Karen? I thought she set the record. Or was that in eliminations?
in eliminations, I think.
Okay.
I,
All right.
I'm
Well,
pretty
either
sure that
way, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that maybe Angel had number one qualifier for like before the last session, but at one point in time she was number one qualifier last year at this race. So that means that Vance and Hines obviously has good data for that track, and they know what to put in the motorcycle. And then I don't know if you read this, but I read it. Eddie had a hernia that it happened Thursday, so
Oh,
he
dang,
was
I didn't
fighting
know
with
that.
that while racing. He's supposed to get it repaired before the next race. Um, and I've had that. He ain't gonna like life after that for probably a few days, maybe a week or two. But that affects your riding. I've done it, and I'm not even going as fast as those guys are. And what using your core and every body movement matters as much. I'm on a bracket bike doing it, but I've done it. So that affected him a lot, and I'm sure that they used both bikes to work together on the tune-ups. But Gage was just, I mean, that's my boy. He's a friend of ours. I'm proud of him. I'm going to talk good about him because he is my boy, and I want to see him do good. But it was straight down through there, every pass. Like I never seen any kind of nothing happen. Like it was just right down the racetrack.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you were spot on with your predictions. I think you kind of had all the young guns, and I'll be honest, I'm a, I I had a feeling that they were going to do well, but I had to root for the older cats. That's what I said I was going to
Well,
do. But I had a good feeling that that Chase and Gage were going to do really well.
the only one that was missing that I predicted was Matt, and Angie took his place.
Yeah,
Um, the
yeah,
and then Eddie, he raced Gage in the second round, so he that had to be kind of to be a new rider for the team, and then you got to kind of race. I guess you'd say teammate, kind of almost boss. You know what I mean? Like
right.
one of your bosses, and maybe I'm just going to say it. We almost had Gage on here tonight, but he had a commitment with what was it? What he had to do?
Man, he
He
had
had
a little bit bigger fish to fry. So I texted Gage yesterday and said, "Hey, I know you're a man of few words, but Dustin and I would love to get you on the podcast." He said, "Oh, definitely." He said, "When y'all recording?" I said, "Well, short notice, but we're gonna be on tomorrow night if you want to jump on." He's like, "Oh, definitely put me down." So I was like, "Sweet." So no sooner did I text Dustin today, I was like, "By the way, I got a surprise. Gage is jumping on." Well, then, like literally not minutes later, Gage texts me. He's like, "Man, I totally forgot. I got to jump on Competition Plus tonight and do interviews." Something I'm like, well, I guess that's a little bit more important. So,
but possibly to have Gage next week. little treat for everybody. Be cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
So
I
that's the
think he'll
goal.
loosen up with us a little bit better than it was with the cameras in your face. You know what I
Hell,
mean? So
it's he probably suffers from the same shit I do, and I was like, I can't, like I said, I was trying to record a video just myself by myself, and I could barely speak. So it's different when
yeah,
you don't have a camera in your
man, he
face.
done so good though. Like everything, it was just a perfect weekend. You go to a race and you're number one qualifier. That's great, especially at Pro Stop Motorcycle. And then you go out there and you just click it off and seal the deal. I couldn't imagine being a hired rider for a team, and you show up and you do exactly what you're supposed to do, and then just fly home. So I texted him. I was like, "Would you sleep with Wyatt last night?" He goes, "Oh yeah, went to dinner with us, flew on the plane with me." I'm like, "Bro, that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, that's cool."
Oh yeah,
and I'm just super happy for him. And I have a lot of other friends that was out there that done well, and like Chase, he done in their circumstances where they had to swap a motor. And sure, I think there was something that come unhooked or something in his run. But and then Richard, he had a pretty solid bike test and won a 681, and then they just had a motor failure, and he wasn't the only motor failure. I'm pretty sure that there was several pro stock motorcycles that had to swap motors, borrow motors. It got crazy, and Joey done decent considering they had a gremlin.
yeah. They had some issues, and he still managed to, make a what? He won
Uh,
the first round, I think.
yeah, yeah. I think did Steve Johnson go red on him? I think.
Yeah, I think
Um,
Steve went. Yeah, Steve went red, and I think Joey hit it hard and went red against Angie, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. And I tried to watch it. I definitely caught the final. If anybody's seen my Facebook, I recorded it and posted it up. Mostly because I wanted to send. I mean, I'm sure it's all over everywhere. He could get it, but I just wanted to send it to Gage because if that was me, I'd want the memory saved. So um,
Yeah.
super cool to see all that how it played out. And actually, man, like the interest right now in pro stop motorcycle is an all time high.
I think
And
so. I agree
I
100%.
think it's because there's so many of us that can relate to so many riders that we've personally all know that it gets us interested versus, people they know of the big names, but don't really, never seen them in person or ever got to talk to them in person.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I think
go ahead.
in our community, it definitely sparked the interest because we all know Gage, we all know Joey, we all know Richard, we all know Chase. It's got more people interested because we know, and plus it was sold out,
Yeah, that
sold
place
out.
was packed, man.
So
Packed.
I'm a big YouTuber. I love YouTube. I watch Cletus McFarland every time. I can't wait till the next one uploads. And they're in Gainesville racing, sold out. And then he's got like some kind of crash thing going on, figure eights with school buses and stuff at Bradenton. And they had to turn people away. It sold it out, the Freedom Factory. So Florida's got it going on for packing the racetracks and stuff, which is great. And I also think it's just good to see people getting out of the house and doing stuff. It's good for the economy.
Yeah, for
I thought
sure.
that was kind of cool to see, two completely different sides of Florida getting the treatment. You know what I mean? Like they were just packed houses. And there was some car racing too in Bradenton that was packed. So it's pretty cool to see that. So the sport is doing good. Another downer is I've seen Montgomery was for sale. That sucks, but it's still open. It's just for sale. It could be
Yeah,
just
but
a
that's
business
that's a
move.
good track. So, or I mean, that's the one that they just did a bunch of renovations, right? So,
So we went there for SDBA the year before last, and okay, the drive sucked. It was like 7 hours or something for me, but the track was killer. Like there wasn't no
yeah.
bumps. The pits were decent. But asphalt. There was like some bumps and stuff, but no big deal. Like it was in my opinion, a really nice facility that has huge potential. And I know
Yeah.
AMA used to go there years ago, but I never went to those. But
Well, I think also, and I mean, I may be wrong, but I feel like the OG Million car race has been there quite a
It
few
it
times.
was it was. I remember seeing that Jordan was there, so you're right. You're right
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. And it's a good track.
Yeah, super nice track, wide. Just a a good base
Yeah.
for some serious events. Speaking of racetracks, I seen today that South Georgia's traded hands, and
I
I hope
did briefly see that.
hope it continues being. I've always thought that's one
Bike
of the
friendly.
nicest. Well, I mean, just I've always thought that's one of the nicest racetracks, like one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a super nice track. It's clean. It's not nothing beat up. Like the people that owned it before took care of it. I have seen a lot of mixed it seems like on according to Facebook that there's a lot of people excited about new owners. So maybe there's, I don't know. It's not a local track to me. Only time I've been there is a bike race, and it's always went nice. The tracks. It's never been the track surface has never been like, oh, this sucks or whatever. So I like seeing that track do well. That's just one of my favorites, I guess, at least a top five for me.
Yeah.
And then Rockingham. I mean, it's looking fabulous. Have you
Man, I
seen those
can't wait.
pictures?
Oh man, how well, we both talked about it. My love for Rockingham. I loved Rockingham last year when, no offense, it was beat up mold and dilapidated. I've
Yeah.
always loved Rockingham.
Yeah, I just can't wait to go. Like, it has got me excited for the Man Cup race there just because I want to go see the track. Like, it looks like a different animal. Like
Oh, 100%. That they have spent so much money and it looks phenomenal. I
today
can't
they
wait to
posted
go.
they're painting the walls.
I will
So
say this though, I'm probably gonna miss not knowing who won the race until we got, our time slips.
nah, I won't miss that because it's like a
I'm
race
just
back to the
kidding.
ticket booth.
I'm just kidding.
Years ago, in like 2015, 2016, the dude at the ticket booth was my dude. Who like I'd be at the return road, and he's giving me a thumbs up, but I'm way far away, so I know if I won or not.
Well, I mean, like you said, most of the time we know we cross the finish line, but there's some times where like it's been tight. And I've been in the shutdown looking at whoever I was racing. There's probably someone I knew, and like we're both like kind of shaking our heads like we have
Yeah.
no freaking clue who the hell just won.
Yeah, I got a quick one about that. So Jerry Turner.
Oh,
Jerry's like the
Uncle Jerry, my man.
Uncle Jerry, like fucking just loves everybody, right? And Jerry won there one time, and he pulled the ticket booth, and the guy was doing him the same thing, like a thumbs up before he got there. And Jerry looked at him, he goes, "Can I have a hug?"
Did the guy hug him?
Yeah, he did. And it's just like I know you can see Jerry, like that's just
yeah.
Jerry. You know what I mean? Like he was
One of
just
the nicest guys ever.
dude, like the best. And that memory will never leave me. Like and that guy was like our best friend. Like we take him drinks or whatever to the ticket booth down there just because he was helping us out, giving us giving us a 50-yard heads up if we won or not before we even got to the ticket booth.
Yeah, for sure. Well, go ahead.
The return road there ain't smooth, so if you try to race back to the ticket booth, you're hitting some yumps. You know what I mean?
Well, that and the damn sand, you're spinning out on sand too. You gotta watch that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna have Mr. Gage, your number one in points and Gator National champion, on next week. That
also known as Hollywood Herrera or Gangster
Hollywood.
Gage.
That's right. So we're hoping that works out just scheduling wise. That's the plan for right now. And if it does, we look forward to, having Gage on here and kind of telling the people that might not know kind of his background story, and then just diving into that dream weekend, kickoff to.
Man, he's still in the clouds right now.
Oh,
he's so happy.
I would be too. So before we move on from that, like Dustin said, Gianna, right? That's how you say it.
Yeah, that's how I say it.
Big surprise, and I'll be honest, past couple of years, I mean, she's kind of was scary to watch, but
she was scary to watch and won a race once.
Yeah, and like I said, that's not talking bad. It's just I don't know.
No. I'm super stoked with her improvements because now she looks like a legit top 5 contender. You know what I mean? Like,
they definitely made some huge, and to be honest, I guess we probably shouldn't speak solely on her because I mean it could have been issues with bikes or anything, but she looked phenomenal this weekend. She made it. What did she make it to? The semis? Yeah. Semis, was cutting good lights. And the last thing I want to talk about, this quick little recap. Did you see all of Chase's lights?
Oh my God,
bro!
His first light to qualify was 01.
No, look, listen. I looked them up while we were talking. And for y'all that weren't, that's redneck, y'all that weren't paying attention, Chase was unfreaking believable the whole weekend. I'm not talking about eliminations. I'm not talking about qualifying. He was unbelievable. He brought his starting line prowess. How do you say that, Sam? I'm too redneck. I can't.
That's too big of a word for me.
he brought his expertise on the starting line from 460 and
460. Got that stuff.
Bracket racing. Oh my gosh. Let me run these down, Dustin, for everybody. Q1, Chase 005. Q2, Chase Van Sant 012. Q3, 011. Q4, 010. So in 4 qualifying passes, his worst freaking light was an 012. Okay.
Killing it.
Go to eliminations. 023 for E1. Not bad. I mean, I'm sure he had a lot of nerves and anxiety going on with that. I
Oh
mean, who
yeah,
wouldn't?
and
Not
still
bad.
killed it.
E2, right back on it. 011, right in that sweet spot. And honestly, this is probably the most impressive because, as Dustin mentioned, and we both saw the same video, we heard a pair of motorcycles go down the freaking track while they were
Yeah,
trying
they
to get
said
his
that
bike off
his
the
pair was in the
stands.
water box. Yes.
Yeah. And luckily, NHRA, helped him out a little bit. And it's hard to do because,
They're on TV.
they're on
Yeah.
TV. Exactly. So that man was suited up as his team furiously worked and putting everything together, suited up. And this is probably to me the most remarkable thing. He didn't change one bit. E3, even though it was a losing effort, and I think what we kind of heard maybe something happened.
Did the ignition come unhooked or
Yeah,
something?
something down track. He was 022.
Probably just something to do with rushing, throwing it together, trying to get up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something didn't get hooked up all the way and it come unhooked going on the racetrack.
Yeah,
but
because
they have to be proud because
that's unbelievable.
One time at XDA, I kicked the chain off and broke some stuff, and we all thrashed. And I pulled up and missed a round, and I was still proud of us, like how good we did to throw that bike back together to get up there. And they made it, like they made the round, and his first, I don't even think he run any last year, right? So this was his first real race, period.
First race.
And then he went to third round and went through all the ups and downs and roller coaster rides of life and racing too, and made it up there, kept his composure, and was 0-2. Like, I know people that can walk out of their RV and jump on the bike fresh and not be 0-2. You know what I mean? So
out of 7 rounds, 4 qualifying rounds, 3 eliminations. Pressure on the eliminations for your first race at a sold-out Gator Nationals. That's insane. Then barely making it up as your
so his worst light was 0-2, right?
His worst light was 023. His second worst light 022, and after that, you had to drop back down to an 012.
Yeah, I mean, there's times we can't even do that, and we just bracket.
I would take that exact spread of those 7 runs for any event.
Yeah, if I could pay for that the rest of my life, I'd lock that in right now.
Let's lock it in. Lock it in. Let's ride. Anyways,
no doubt.
I just had to hit that up. I thought somebody, maybe it was Boo, had said something about it, but
yeah, we were talking in Messenger. Yeah, I mean, that's like, it just shows that I'm always going to believe this, that some of the best, professional racers come from index and bracket racing. They just do, right? Because you're familiar with all fundamentals of a racetrack, not just, riding a motorcycle. And that's also one reason why Gage is doing so well. He didn't even have to have great lights. I mean, I think he was 03, 04-ish, average during eliminations, which is where he needed to be, And we've all seen some riders go up there and they're always flirting with that line. Joey's one of them. He's either going to be killer or red, but that's what you have to not be afraid of the red to be killer. That's just the way it is. You can't race scared. And that's probably what got Joey, was him being, I think his bike was messed up too, but it was a very interesting weekend. I was super happy to see all the people excited about it because I'm always watching. I might not post about it as much. I mean, I did because Joey before, and now Gage because my friends is in there, and I think it's great to see, and I'm proud of them. I've always watched, but to see just random people talking about Pro Stock Motorcycle that I've never seen talk about it before is pretty exciting to me. I mean, I like the excitement.
I'm with you 100%. You could feel the excitement leading up to it during qualifying, and I'll be honest, like, I tried to stay off social media on Sunday. I was working on the website.
Man, I was in the garage and I was watching on Fox. And when he left, I was screaming, "It's over!" I just knew because he had the tree, and I knew he wasn't going to mess up. Tamara can run out there because I was like, "Woo!" And she's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm amped up right now."
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it was such a buzz on social media that, like, I made sure to stay off so I didn't spoil it. I wanted to watch it in real time, and luckily,
yeah,
that was cool.
I'm thankful that my screen recording of the pass was just media only, because y'all would have heard me hollering, because let alone he's just a friend of, a really good friend of ours. I actually helped Gage last year go to a couple of races. You know what I mean? Like, I sponsored some fuel and stuff just to help him. So I got a little bit, I guess, extra investment, just pride, and just want to see him do good, and to get him to get the dream ride and go out there and and get to live it, man, I was so happy for him. I wish I was there. Boo, had to go and send us a picture hanging out with him. I'm like, man, you suck. But I already talked to Gage. I'm like, hey, man, you guys coming to Bristol? I said, I ain't been in NHRA racing years, but I'm a coming. I don't have a race that weekend. It's Father's Day weekend, I think.
No,
I'm a going. Oh, did they?
it's not on Father's Day weekend, but the fact
We're
that
still
you're
going.
planning something is awesome because you don't ever plan to do
I
nothing.
know it, but I mean, it's in Bristol. It's an hour from my house,
Yeah, no, I
and
know.
I'm willing to bet that I can just help them and hang out with them and enjoy that. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah,
So
for
that'll be a good
sure.
time.
For sure. Yeah, that was just super cool. Hopefully we can get the man, the myth on next week. That'd be cool to hear his take and his side of everything. So we look forward to that. Yeah, like you said, pretty cool buzz, and think we're all going to be talking about it for the rest of the year, kind of keeping up with pro stock motorcycle
I
a little bit
mean,
more.
I would be perfectly fine with seeing Chase and Gage and even Gianna and Angie and throw some Joey in there and maybe some Richard, some of these newer ones, and then them guys just battle it out all year for the top 5. I think it'd be so cool. Like
Yeah.
I'm fired up about it. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It's just like seeing my friends succeed in life. That's what I want everybody in life to reach their goals and have their dreams come true. I'm gonna tear up and cry about it, I guess, but
Yeah. Well,
that's just what I want to see. Like I want to see my everybody win. You know what I
and
mean?
I
So
can't wait to get Gage on and hear everything because let's shout out Mr. Gary Stouffer and Karen Stouffer because I know they worked together last year to get Gage out there,
if
kind of get his
if it
feet
wasn't
wet.
if it wasn't for Gary, this none of this would be happening because
Man,
Gary brought it up to get like he was like, "What do you think about doing this?" And he was like, "I'd like to try it." Then bam,
well, and
you know.
I might have asked you. It was somebody, but you might remember this because it could have been you. But I remember, at one of the races last year, like this guy, I started seeing him with Gage, like one race and the next race, and like it's like, who is that? And like one of y'all told me, I was like, oh shit, I'm dumb. I should have known that.
Oh, Gary? Yeah,
Yeah, but
Gary's
I'm
cool,
saying like,
man.
and then I got to know
Yeah.
Gary a little bit because, like I said, we're always parked close to Gage and hanging out with him. And man, Gary's a cool dude, and just see him. He was always excited when we'd ride by and waving and all. So that
Just
man,
good old
really,
boy.
yeah, for
He's just
sure.
like us. And I mean, I guess I get starstruck sometimes. Like, there's been times that Gary's bought stuff from me. I'm like, man, this is cool. Like, Gary Stouffer's bought, you know what I mean? I've had Matt Smith buy wheel chalk from me. I think that's cool. I get amped up about it. Like, when I ship them, like, NHRA champs, the title on the tag. Like, that's what I put on there, you know? Just like Gage, he ordered some base gaskets today, and his invoice, I sent him his invoice, and it didn't even have itemized. It just said shit ton of base gaskets. That's what it was.
That's
But it
awesome.
was shipped to Hollywood Herrera. You know what I mean?
There
Because
you
I
go.
just have fun with that stuff, But I guess I get all starstruck because in my mind they're a higher level than me, but they're realistically just like us. They're all good
Oh yeah,
people, man.
for sure. So
So we
awesome.
could go on about that. Hopefully we
Yeah,
can keep our excitement up for when Gage gets on here. So I can't wait just to let him talk about the process and how it all
yeah.
happened. Because I mean, I'm
Well,
sure he's still starstruck by it himself. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
and I mean for the people that don't know Gage as well as us, we'll get try and get him to talk more about his. I mean, his family's has a long storied history in racing, so that'll be
yeah,
cool to talk.
right back to the bracket racers too. They
Yeah,
all bracket raced at some point. It's just cool.
yeah.
And of course, me and you are all for that. That's what we do. I just like seeing and showing and talking about that. This is how you start. Like, I'll never be a pro stock rider. I'm too fat, but I'm going to stay in my lane. But this is also going to lead to our next topic.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna talk about some things that Dustin and I have always wanted to do in racing as
Yeah,
far as that goes. But
as far as me, like the sportsman stuff, I've done it all except one. You know, and there ain't nowhere else for me to go. Like, I can't grudge race. Too fat. Can't
no,
run
you can
pro.
get on heavy hitters. We got heavy hitters
And
now.
then I need like a super heavy hitter. I need like a
No, well
super duper.
you you could do turbo
Yeah, I mean,
like
I don't
Big
know.
Dave
Like,
picking pockets.
yeah, I mean, well, that's going to happen. From I'm eventually Dustin will own a no bar turboed street bike of some sort. Like, I have a rolling chassis that's stock, and I have the want. I just don't have The money. That's you know.
Time and money, baby. Time and money.
Are we going to talk about that now? Like what the classes that we desire to race one day if we haven't?
Well, yeah, let's talk about it, but let's take a brief second. I want to do a
Oh,
sponsor
you're going
shout
to do
out.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Just because we try and give our sponsors that have been supporting us a little spotlight. So every once in a while we'll just take a couple minutes and just talk about a specific sponsor. And as you all know, or if you didn't miss the last episode, at 10,000 downloads we're going to do our first big giveaway. We're right at about 4,000 now, so getting close to halfway there. Maybe another month or two, at probably 2 months, I'd say at the most. But anyways, at 10,000 downloads, we're going to do another random giveaway for any subscriber. And that winner will get to pick between a set of energy coil ignition coils, a BMF Components carbon fiber tank shell, or a short neck frame service from Manchester Mines. So tonight, I just want to take a minute and talk about Manchester Mines. Um, Mr. Kevin Manchester, this dude, I'm pretty sure this is kind of just his side love and passion, but man, he's a phenomenal welder. Like seriously, his welds are some of the nicest I've ever seen. And I've seen some really damn good welds from some professionals and pretty much artists. So his short neck service, if you want to get that done, if you're the winner, you can get that done. I think it's about $600 value. It's phenomenal work. He also does a lot of fork lowering, cut down. Dustin probably knows more about like cutting them down and everything. I don't really know about that. I've only ever lowered my forks, but he does them
They
up really
call them they call them cut your forks, but you're actually internally lowering them. Now,
nice.
on the some of the grudge and pro street stuff, they literally cut the outside leg
Yeah,
to
turn
make it
them
short.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So Kevin can do all that. Anything that has to do with forks, he also does that. And I know there's a lot of other people and shops that do that. I've personally used Kevin before on my forks and have been 100% satisfied. Beautiful. Get them. I guess they're anodized. I get them black anodized. I'm just never really like most of the stock forks are gold, so get them black anodized with some nice top caps. So anyways, and if it has to do with welding, I'm pretty sure Kevin's made his own turbo headers and everything. So if you want to get some fabrication going on, hit up Mr. Kevin Manchester, Manchester Mine. So that's our sponsor spotlight for tonight.
I feel like there should be like a slogan like Manchester Mines, something like that.
He's got a pretty cool logo. I think he's just like a wizard.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think about. Like,
something.
yeah, that's what it's like. What I can't make the sounds. I'm not. I wish I
Well,
could throw my
you got
voice like
sound
that.
effects.
Yeah, but I don't. Like, I wish I had a way to like make my voice sound cool to fit that. But instead, you just get the old hillbilly. That's all you get.
Yeah.
I tell my daughter that all the time. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
That's right. That's right.
It's what it is.
So that's your sponsor spotlight. Like I said, we'll do these every couple episodes to just spotlight the people supporting this podcast. But yeah, so Dustin and I, as we mentioned, really just kind of had some rough, shitty week or two going on. So we've been a little bit behind the eight ball as far as getting our topics together and everything. But tonight, we're going to continue on with the show, and we're just going to kind of dive into some classes that maybe we've always wanted to run, or really, I guess that's it, right?
The topic for my stress would be I got a race this weekend, is what everybody tells me, and they need these parts that they should have ordered 2 months ago. I still trying to make it happen, but boy, they make it rough on me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but
yeah.
So I was talking a little bit ago before we had our spotlight that as far as me, I've raced every class that I physically can race and be. I'm not the type person to want to enter Pro Street just to see how fast I can go and set a personal goal. If I can't win, I ain't doing it. That's just the way I am. Like if I ain't got a shot at winning, like a legit shot, an equal shot, I ain't doing it. So there's only one class that I feel like that I haven't raced, and I feel like that if I built a bike for, I could win, and that's 460. That's the only class.
460.
I've tossed around the idea of a no bar 460 bike, and I become realistic with myself that these guys, for the most part, are 30 or better, and they run one or two above or under the number. So there's too many variables in a no bar bike for a guy my size
I
to
agree
live
with
on the
that.
raggedy edge to compete. And so if I ever did get a chance to do that, um, I would build a bar bike again. And man, I haven't been a bar bike racer in many years, but I did learn on bar bikes. So I'm not afraid of that. I'm just afraid of the work that comes with it, being pushed and towed and starters. And well, Busa power plants, you got to worry about all that, thank God. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I was gonna
there's
say
just,
really the only thing would just being a pushback, but we got you on
yeah.
that.
Yeah, but you
Squirrel.
also know that I'm not like the type that asks for help. I would drown by myself a lot of times before I would ask somebody to help me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
but
just the
getting
way I
pushed
am.
up and back is hell. I'm gonna need help this year with that
Yeah.
probably.
Well, I'm all for helping someone else. I just never the type that wants to reach out and have ask for help. That's I don't know why. Even when I was younger and growing up and learning to pay bills on my own and stuff, I could be dead broke and I wouldn't never ask nobody for nothing. I just figure it out. And I don't know. That's just the way I am. But I do want to do it. I almost
I'm
had an
gonna see you.
opportunity. I almost had an opportunity one time, and I really didn't like push on it. I had a person going to basically build a roller, and then I had to just go get the roller and make it run and do all electronics and engine and fuel system. And I was for it, and I never told them no, but I also didn't like stay on top of the ball.
Mhm.
And then they reached out. I'll just say it was Bill Bear. He was going to build a chassis. I was going to go get it. I was going to bring it home. I was going to make it race ready and race it with his big logo on its tail section. And it got time to where if I was going to get it, I needed to get it. And the bike was done. And he reached out to me and said, "How do you feel?" He goes, "I do have a customer that's wanting to buy this chassis." I said, "Sell it." I was like, "We can do this stuff later, you know." And
Man, Bill, he's a cool cat. And he has some great framework and chassis that he's built. Probably a lot of
so
people aren't as familiar with him.
I run Bill Bear chassis products before I almost feel like it. Not many people like Patches was a Bill Bear back half,
Oh yeah, yeah, for
and
sure. I
I
remember
mean,
that.
it was a bolt-on back half to a stock frame that Bill personally used himself, and I bought it from the corner of his shop. And the crazy part is I contact Bill on the old school Psycho bike page. So and then we become friends, and now like we're friends, like legit friends. Like I bought that back half. Paul Gass brought it to me to a race because Butch dropped it off, and I built Patches with it, and it always done great. So I already was a believer in his product, and I was definitely interested in riding one of his full chassis. But I guess kind of back to the deal where I don't want to feel like I'm costing somebody something. When he had a customer ready to buy, I said,
Oh yeah,
"Send it." I
for
wasn't going to
sure.
try to hold him up for me just to have some glory, or try something. But I will one day eventually.
I was gonna
It
say
might,
I have no doubt that you're gonna be in 460.
yeah,
But
it's going to be like when I don't want to race four classes no more. You know what I mean? Like it would
that's got to
be
be getting soon.
10 more championships, and I promise that
Ah,
stuff's dead. Like, but I want to. My goal would be, I guess you could say, is 460 and 560, and the reason being is they're kind of the same format, just different speeds. So then when you
yeah,
go racing, you have two jobs: pro tree and run index. That's it. You don't have to
yeah.
shuffle around multiple classes. It would be smart to do it that way.
No, you're
Um,
right. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I've done it plenty of times, and honestly, I've kind of steered away from pro tree stuff recently, just because I'm not that great at a pro tree in a a
Yeah, I mean,
sportsman
everybody
type
needs to pick
category.
pick their place where they shine at, and utilize it, especially when you're racing for money. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you ain't going to enter no $1 million race when you ain't never come off a top bulb before. You know what I'm saying? It's just not smart. Or if you're not good at top bulb, you're better at pro tree. You're not going to do it. But if they had a pro tree $1 million race, you jump in that, because your talents are there.
yeah.
So I know that my top sportsman bike's power plant could cover 460 in a chassis bike, no problem. I mean, you're talking a bike that's probably at least 100 pounds lighter, and you can 60 foot without worrying about flipping. So I know that the power plant that I have will cover the index. It's just me driving myself. I'm so busy with work and then my two that I have to build another whole motorcycle. And right back to I'm poor right now, and I just can't really afford to start a new project. And I have a lot of hopes and dreams, which I think is what drives people in life. and I one day will hopefully have everything I want. But right now, it just ain't justifiable for me to do something like that. So
Yeah.
you never
Well,
know. If I ever catch a super deal on a Busa powered roller, might buy it and just put it in the corner, and then
yeah.
just slowly do it. You know.
Well, like you said, we just kind of want to touch on some stuff that we plan or hope to do someday, and I,
I mean, for
definitely want
you
to see you in it.
personally, you I don't really know where else you would want to go because you've kind of dibble dabbled in everything you wanted to, and one of them that you've thought about is happening this year. So
Yeah, I mean that's the plan. Is to test out 460. I mean, honestly, I'd kind of thought what you were talking about with my blower bike. The Pro Charge bike. I'd considered it basically the same thing as you. It wouldn't have been, I guess, as hard
your
on the
chance,
equipment to do
your
it,
yeah.
but
I,
what you said is the point, and that's why I wasn't even really seriously considering it, is because at the end of the day, I think although a no bar bike can definitely run 460, I just don't feel like the consistency, and like you said, we're not going to go enter something we don't think we can win. But with
off.
this opportunity to team up with Mac and Boo and John Hall, I'm hopefully testing goes well and we can hit the races running with it. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I could think that you might want to ever do is grudge race and fast stuff for Pro Street, and you're physically the size for that. I'm not. I'm
Um,
physically handicapped.
you know, probably years ago, I would want to run Pro Street. I'm just going to be perfectly honest. That shit scares me now. I mean, they are just going too damn fast. And I don't know. I don't like, I mean, you go over 200 miles an hour and it's aerodynamics is a huge factor. And I know this because I've land speed raced before and learned a lot from it. And I mean, there's some shit that happens. I mean, I would say really 190 plus is, I feel like 190 ish is about where it really starts to matter. But, you go 200 plus, and I mean, these bikes are running 220, 230. I don't know. It's just scary to me.
I've
So
had people reach out to me and be like, "Don't you want to ever just like get on the goat list?" I'm like, "No." Like, I mean, yeah, I guess it's okay to say have this number fastest Pro Street or whatever, but if I can't win the daggum race, I don't want to do it. That's just the way it is.
yeah.
Like, I don't want to do it if I can't win.
Well, I mean, I think you and I are both like that. But I mean, my biggest thing is, there was probably a time years ago when I mean, I was definitely would have, probably aspired to run Pro Street. But like I said, now I guess I'm just getting old and scared because I really have no desire to go 220, 230 in that situation. I went 227 in a mile land speed racing, but that's a whole different, I mean, that's just a whole different ball
I'm
game.
not. I'm not saying that the motorcycle might not surprise me or scare the crap out of me, but riding it's something I'm not really concerned about the speed. Just I don't want to go out there and waste. I feel like if I tried to do that or build a bike for it, that I'm wasting my time. That's what I would feel like, and I don't. I'm just
Yeah.
not
No,
interested. I
yeah.
mean,
I
if I
mean,
was if I was 190, 200 pounds, I feel like that would be a competitive area to be to run that stuff. And to be honest, if I had to choose between Pro Street or like a grudge class, I'd probably go grudge racing just because the fact that the ones that win Pro Street are like, that's their job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, their job
yeah.
is to like be competitive and fast. And I'd just be like a old hillbilly out there trying to. I mean, DME is one of my biggest sponsors. I know that if I really wanted to ride a pro street bike, I could get that took care of and figure it out. But I just don't want to waste my time and their time to not have a chance at winning. If I can't win, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Just the way I'm
We're just
wired.
too competitive, both of us.
I feel
Probably you
like I'm
so more
wasting
than me.
precious. I'm wasting precious time on something that's I don't want to say it's pointless, but if I can't get a winner circle, if I don't have the same shot everybody else does, I'm just not. I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
In
So
bracket racing, that's the equalizer. It don't
yeah,
matter who you are, how big you are, what you weigh, what you
what you
got.
ride,
You
yeah, it
got
don't
a
matter.
shot. Yeah,
That's why we love it.
just like poker, baby. Chip in a chair. That's all you got to have.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I'm looking at my blower bike right now. I mean, that thing will easily run sixes. So, I might try and
Yeah.
do that one time this year just to say, hey, I went, 690 at 205 or something. I'd
You,
be okay with that, but I just don't think I have a desire to run a pro street bike. Now, that could all change if somebody just randomly called me up, but I don't really see that happen either. Now, what I will say, and this, I've always always from the very first My Rock race I went to 13, 14 years ago with Darren Burnett. It was at MIR. It was like 110 degrees, and I wasn't racing. I was just getting into bike racing, blah, blah. Anyways, I fell in love with Real Street. And that's probably the only class, going back to what you were saying, Dustin, that I always said that I wanted to build a bike and race in it. And I did that. I did that years ago. I did that in maybe like 2015.
Done it
But
twice.
what I was going to go with is, when I did it the first time, I that's probably the only time that I built and entered races knowing I was getting my ass kicked. Like
You
I
were
had
getting your
no
feet
chance.
wet.
Yeah, I had no chance because I built this bike on a super thin budget, and I'm talking thin.
Yeah, stock ECU is the most real street bike out there.
Well, yeah, and I mean honestly, at that point, I really only think one or two bikes had standalones in Real Street,
Yeah,
but
probably.
that being said, like I had the motor, a single motor,
Yeah.
and I at the time, I think the top, I think like Roger and Jeremy and them, they were running like, but they just started going
Eddie
70s.
Chapman.
Yeah, they started going 70s, but really anything sevens was fast. So even 790s, 780s was quick. Um, and I built it, and I wanted to do it. So I got it and did it, and I raced it for a year.
Didn't you
Um,
go like 8 O's or something?
you know what? That bike was a nitrous bike, and at the time,
You had a
it,
lot of gremlins.
I don't really remember it having a lot of gremlins. It just was a learning thing, and I couldn't
Nit-
wick it up, but
it was
so much.
nitrous. That's what it was.
I will say this, poor Darren, I put him on it.
Yeah, he wrote it one foot pace were
He
different.
wrote it. Well, that poor guy, I love Darren to death, and he didn't deserve that. I put him on the bike first. And it did have gremlins then the first time or two. But
Yeah.
after I got it worked out, I don't think I went 8 O's. I think I went like 820 or 815 or something, which
Yeah.
I was super proud of because that bike, I was racing that thing under 64 inches.
Yeah.
Like, and man, the only way to ride that son of a bitch was to get super angry at it. Like if you were anything less than angry, you were gonna suck. But I remember the last race I ever did on that bike, or for that year, because I think I only raced it for a year. We were down at I think it was SGMP, and I remember it was the last race, and I had two kits on it. I had a dry kit on it, and then the second kit was a big ass wet kit. And I don't think I used the wet kit hardly at all. And maybe I had some issues with it. I don't think I'd
Yeah,
used it up
it
until
leaked
that
fuel in the
point.
airbox a few times.
Yeah. So, but that was just kind of the setup at the time and the only thing I could put together, so on and so forth.
It's
Anyways,
redneck hillbilly stuff.
yeah. So
It's
we
cool.
get down there, and man, I was super proud because I remember I think it was Roger. Man, Roger was cool as shit. He was always helping me out when I had questions. Like literally would go up to me and like ask Roger a question. He'd look at me like, that's a dumbass question, but I'm still gonna answer it.
Well, that guy
So
has a whole lot of knowledge in that class. Like
yeah.
he's a book of knowledge in that
And
class.
he was always super helpful. But anyways, me and Roger pair up in qualifying or whatever. And we go down through there, and I said, if I leave good, I'm gonna grab that wet kit and see what happens. Man, that was probably like the highlight of that short that short little year of Real Street. I think when I actually had both kits working now, this is the sad part, is it ended up not shifting in the fourth. So I only went like eighth mile and aborted it. And who knows? I don't know if it tore any. Anyhow, I think Roger went like 148 to the eight, and I went 146. And so like that showed me that I was on the path, and I was just super proud of that. I think he went like 780 or something. Of course, I about blew my bike up, probably
And then when
aborted,
you
but
built one without a budget, it really went fast and got the rules changed on you.
well, like I said, that's the only time I've ever jumped into a class knowing I was just going to get my ass kicked.
Well, you wanted to see if you could do it. I mean, I get
Yeah.
that. I get
Well,
that.
it was a lot of things. I wanted to see how well I could ride. That was just a personal thing, and I was proud. I rode a lot better than I thought I would with that heavy ass stock clutch. And like like we were talking, I was on a super tight budget. I mean, I didn't even have the right shit for really what I was doing. Period. But it was fun. But I always said, getting to your point, I always said if I can ever get back in Real Street again, I'll do it. But it's gonna be with you know I'm gonna be able to buy what I want, what I need, and it's gonna be badass. And I did that, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
super proud of that. Came out with let Eric build this badass Pro Charge Real Street bike. Is the first one of its kind. Tom Federici, right? He had a supercharger bike, but it was like a Rotrex or something. It was a different blower setup, and it just never made as much power as these Pro Chargers do. I don't think so. But aside from him, yeah, I
And
guess I
then
was I was
it
really the
got
only Pro Charger.
two hand grasp on the rule book right across the right side of your cheek. Whap! And you said,
Man,
I'm done.
yeah. Well, we came
Spent all
out.
this money and I'm done.
Yeah, came out and like that was some crazy shit too, because that was the yeah, I think so, right? Yeah, that was the shortened COVID year. Came out and won the first race. Now,
Yeah.
granted, the Amish Outlaw did gift me in the final and went red. But I still won the first race on a brand new bike and brand new build, and we went fast. I think I went 7:55 the first weekend out with it.
You got smacked with the rule book, and then you had to wake it up and get serious, and it burnt some stuff up, and Ben was like, okay, I'm out. Got to go.
Yeah,
See ya.
well, and then I even tried it a little bit the next year. Look, I love Jason. He's a friend of mine, but man, I'll tell Jason straight to his face. I felt like some of those rule changes were not exactly right. And I'll put it to you
Yeah.
like this: the year, that year that I came back, which what would have been 2, 3 years, probably 3 years ago now.
You never went the fastest.
Well, yeah, exactly. I never went the fastest, and also I did it, and but John Gover was going to do it, and he helped me. Like I started a real street goat list, and honestly, I kind of dropped the ball, and I got frustrated and left
You
it.
come back home to us old bracket people.
Yeah, but so I started a real street goat list, and since I had such a pulse on it, doing the goat list and everything, that year there was, I think that out of the top 10, or I'll put it like this, out of the top 10 quickest passes in all time real street history, they were seven of them. Seven of the top 10 were on different combinations, seven completely different combinations. So, and I'll still hold to it and tell Jason, love him to death. But, the argument was that there was probably some of the best parity the class had ever had. So, it is
Yeah.
what it is. I mean, I get it. He was trying to,
Well, the new
make some
combo scared
rules.
people.
Well, and yeah, and I can't blame Jason. I mean, I'm sure there was plenty of people, chirping in his ears, like, that bike's going to go 730s or something, whatever they thought it was going to go.
And I mean, I ain't saying it didn't have the potential because now that you have a slider in it, we see all the potential, right?
Well,
But
there's no doubt about
yeah,
how, about the power. It wasn't a power issue; it was about managing it.
control,
Yeah.
right? You know what I took pride in Real Street? I actually had pride in the Real Street. I took a lot of pride into stirring the pot on the Real Street group
Man, that
page.
year
Like,
that was honestly some of the most fun too. Was when Cameron and
I swear,
Jeremy
I
and
swear
Brandon.
to this day that me and Spencer revived that class by just starting drama, like we
Oh,
just did.
100%.
He would message me something, and I'm like, I'll say it. I don't give a shit. And I goes,
Yeah, and then we got like Ricky all riled up and
oh
shit, and
yeah,
he
yeah.
likes and he like be secretly talking shit. Like I seen something. What was it? Didn't like a couple months ago he was talking shit like how he was going to teach. Basically, I think he was talking about Spencer. How he's going to teach Spencer a lesson. It's like, come on, man.
Well,
All right.
Spencer's he's got a whole new combo, and I mean, back to the he's my boy, and I'm always going to back my boy.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah, we're
But I'm
biased.
telling you, that thing's nasty. Like it's going to be nasty. And here's the thing. So everybody can joke around and have fun, and that I think that honestly kept the class going. But it did get sometimes some people was joking on other people that didn't want to joke, and
It could get a little heated.
it
But
kindly run a couple of them away. You know what I mean? It scared them out of the class. But the ones that was thick skinned, man, we were rough on each other. I mean, there was times
yeah.
that I think Cameron then was sitting on the wall. And when I put a picture, I was like, "Look at the wall of shame" or something. And they were just like,
yeah.
I had them tore up. I
Look,
took pride in that.
Hey, when Bubble Wrap and Brandon, the favorite
Yeah.
Teasley,
Yeah.
when that's what Tiffany says at least.
Yeah.
But I love them all. They've always been good to me. Even
Brandon's like the opposite of Cameron, and then Jeremy's like in between. You know what I mean?
I love getting JT riled up though. But
yeah. Don't
man,
happen much.
yeah, when they all bowed out like the next year too, and it just wasn't nearly as fun. And then I tried it for half the season, and I just couldn't get back on that level. I think I raced like 3 races the next
Yeah.
year with the different rules. And I mean, I got within, I think I was a solid 10th, maybe a tenth and a half slower than the fastest pass I made the second year after some rule changes. I was at least, I know, a tenth. I think I was about a tenth and a half slower than my fastest pass the next year. And I said, screw this shit.
Come back home where it don't matter.
Yeah, yeah. Which,
You
like I
know,
said, that was a big bucket list thing for me. That was huge. If I don't ever, if I don't ever get into any other class, I'm just happy that I got back into real street and did what I always wanted to do. And we
yeah.
won a race and showed out and showed up and got the rules
When you
changed.
when you bracket race, the only thing you got to worry about is do they allow a delay box or not. That's the only rule you got to worry about, really.
Or
Everything
clutch.
else, well, yeah,
Tennessee
you gotta,
Street ET.
yeah, you gotta have that Tennessee Street ET, man. Like I'm gonna keep doing that because I'm gonna make that viral thing.
Look, I love that.
Yeah.
Look, we're not, and you're not. I'm not letting you. We're not going into it. But those of y'all that know, that was actually some funny shit that
Yeah.
that our
So
homie said.
I'm gonna make that
So
viral.
I
So
love it.
gonna
I'm going with it all the time. I'm
yeah,
calling it Tennessee Street ET now.
because at the end of the day, I will stand my ground on this until the day I die. Bracket racing has nothing to do with riding talent. Period. That's it. If it did, foot brake would have stick shift cars. That's just the way it is. Like it don't matter how you go about it. You got two jobs. That's cut a lot and run the finish line. That's it. That's the only two jobs you got. It don't
I'm
matter how
with you
you
on
skin
that.
it. And I'll ride that until the day I kick the bucket. There's nobody ever going to change my mind. If they feel differently, I'm sorry. Everybody's got their own opinion on the rules. And I mean, if you want to show your talent of riding a motorcycle, go run some super stock or real street, and
Well,
you can
look,
show how bad you really are.
well, here's the thing too. Like, I don't, if there's enough interest and enough for people to want to have, in which obviously there are some that are running it. Well, XDA is now too, but like if there's enough interest and that's the class you want to create and go with, I'm cool with that too. But
Just got
yeah,
to
I
make sure
mean,
you have that core that can still hang in there like XDA does. Jason physically told me that they done that to eliminate bot counts so they could get the races done quicker. He
yeah,
dropped
well,
about 50 or 60 entries by doing that. It
oh, for
worked,
sure.
you know,
But
if
like I
not
said,
more.
if I'm with you 100%. I mean, to me, it's
Yeah.
not even debatable about bracket
Yeah.
racing, and that's like you said, it's not about a
No,
riding skill.
look at NHRA. So like Super Gas, what was it, 990 or whatever?
Yeah,
Them guys all have throttle stops. They leaves fall on its face or super comp dragsters too, and they take off and have big mile an hour. It doesn't matter how you do it as long as you get it done. That's it.
yeah.
It don't matter. It don't matter what you have. And the bike guys just got to look at the car world a little bit more. I guess because I race with cars so much that I felt like even on a motorcycle with every bells and whistle you could buy, you still didn't have the same advantage as a guy in a car because he could hold his car still. We have to hold it with our legs. And I just don't never really get all worked. I don't care if Street ET has full blown sliders. I don't care. Like, let's just bracket race. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a style. It's a street style motorcycle. I mean, realistically, they should just change the name to
Street style SS
yeah, or box and no
replicas,
box.
street replicas.
Yeah, or pro stock ET or something. I don't know. It's crazy. But
Oh, look, we could go on and on about that. We've done it
yeah,
before. Yeah, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent, but we're gonna roll with
got me
Tennessee
fired up.
CDT. Yeah, so that's kind of wrap up what we were talking about on just that subject. Yeah, I don't know. I'll put it like this. I had the opportunity, my good buddy Ralphie asked me to ride his real street bike a couple times last year. I love that. I will ride real street again if the opportunity comes, and probably if somebody asks me to. I don't foresee myself getting back into it with my own bike, but if hey, I'm for hire. I'll ride a real street bike. I love that class. That's my favorite class. Probably always will be.
Yeah, like for me, building another because everybody knows I'm building the Trunchable, which is another whole motorcycle, and I've kind of lost my drive on it, so I'm taking a break. But it's getting to where I just got to sit down and have time. I don't have it.
Yeah,
But if I
for
look
sure.
at building another motorcycle, I also look to see if I could have a Super C RV instead, and it would be better than another race bike. I already have 3 race bikes, so I don't really need another one. So it's just where I look at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hell, look at me. How long has my old faithful, the bike that I've won a ton of stuff on, how long has that been apart now? Well, this would be the third year.
Yeah,
No,
if we
second year.
you could
Third year.
probably you could probably be working on it right now if you have to build another whole website.
Screw you. Um,
Kentucky.
oh man. But no, what I was getting at with that bike is that that's when you'll build your 460 bike. Is just I told myself, I said, when I tear this bike apart and I'm taking it down to the frame, I'm not going to have a timeline, and I'm just going to do it when I want to, mainly when I get some money to buy all the expensive shit, because it's going to be nice when I bring it back out. So I've been slowly gathering parts, but yeah, I mean, it's just when I get time and money, I'll put that thing back together. I hope that I can get it together, for next year, but it's definitely ain't going to be together for this year.
Yeah, I don't know when I'll. I mean, I'm not saying I'll never will, but I'm not going to rush it. Maybe after I get 50 championships and I can focus on something.
50
So
championships.
give
That's
me
insane.
3 or 4, give me 3 or 4 years, and then I'll worry about it.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
longer.
but I will say this though, the one thing that the like you said, like we talked about, it sounds like I'll be scratching that itch. And it wasn't a huge itch to run 460, but sounds like I'm going to try 460 out this year. I do agree with you in that I do have a pretty deep desire. I don't even know if I want to run it, but I do want to build a grudge bike. And it's more so just to build it. But obviously, I gotta put Old Faithful back together. So who knows if that'll ever happen? But if I do, it's probably gonna have a blower on it because I just am in love with blowers, pro chargers now. So
Yeah, I mean, Spencer has really been my really good test dummy for me in the grudge stuff. Like he showed me what not to do and what works, and of course, I've helped him along the way, like on stuff, parts and this and that. So, deep down inside, I would like to stick with nitrous if I ever build a grudge bike. But man, like Demi and them is like, in my opinion, some of the most knowledgeable people about turbo stuff, and they're kind of like on my side. So I feel like that I want to try something new to get. Like I've done nitrous so much, I guess you could say, because I got bracket bikes, I'm bored with it. So I wouldn't care to learn something new. Because I mean, turbo stuff's kind of complicated. Nitrous, you just send it in there and add fuel and pull time. And well, turbos, you got cold sides and hot sides and plenums, and got to have solenoids, and it just overwhelms me. And I'm like, I don't know nothing about that stuff. I mean, I
heavy
tune a
hitters,
lot of,
baby.
I tune some
250
clutches.
turbos.
I tune clutches on some turbo bikes, and they're usually a little bit angry. And I've actually, when I first started tuning them, Andy kind of helped me just like get me started because I didn't know where to start. And the very first turbo bike that I tuned the clutch in was I want to say like a B class pro street bike, basically. And his initial tune up that started out was from Andy. Like he said, here, just start here. I'm like, perfect. He goes, that tune up's been 680 something, which back then was pretty fast, cool. And that's where I started at. And then we just tweaked it. But there's just, nitrous is like now, like when you leave the line, you add nitrous, it's instant. And then turbos, you got to, pull timing and add fuel to build, lag and boost and make it's just complicated. I just want it to go. So I think if I did build a turbo bike, I'd probably have nitrous on it. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, when I build a blower bike, it's gonna have nitrous on it.
I mean, a blower bike kind of, they kind of are like a nitrous bike. You know what I mean? They make it down low
Still put some
instantly.
NOS on that baby.
Yeah, I mean, nose. I don't know. Like I want to do it because it's different. I don't know much about them. I know who knows about them. So if I need info, I can get it. But I've never dug into that on my personal stuff. Nitrous is just a perfect thing for a hillbilly. Like it's just like peanut butter and jelly. It's
I
almost
like a
like
good peanut butter and
carburetors.
jelly. Yeah, yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. For sure. So I don't know. I think did we cover that topic? We just kind of
Yeah,
gave our
yeah. I mean,
wish list, our dreams.
a little bit of future stuff that we have plans. I mean, we've on what we're like classes, I guess. The only thing that, unless I get like a gastric bypass, the only thing I can see myself ever racing in 460. I'm not saying I might not never get a gastric bypass, but I'm just saying, like right now in my current situation, that it's just not feasible for my mentality to race anything else. So, if I can't win, I ain't doing it. Like, I mean, if I enter a scooter race, I'm serious. Like I want to win. It's not
I
like I'm. just having fun. If I don't want to race no more, I don't even enter. You know.
Maybe by the time that you get your 460 bike together, I'll just kind of be over it and I'll just want to be Darnell. And then I can just ride around and push you up, push you
But
back, and
that
drink
would be
cold
good because
beers.
I don't have nobody to push me around. So I mean, maybe by then my daughter could be. You know, I've
Oh,
my,
yeah.
my I would be perfectly fine if I have. I'll bring this up. So, you know, my daughter's the age now that I could take her racing with me, just me and her, and be fine. But I have a fear that if I ever something happen and I crash, my
Gravy.
kids, yeah, my kids there, and then I know my friends would take care of her, but I don't want her to be in that situation where, you know, I'm hurt and I'm leaving, going wherever I'm going, and she's by herself, kind of. So I don't bring her. But when my daughter gets old enough to, you know, take care of things on her own, she could literally drive the camper or whatever if it needed to happen. Then I'll probably bring her, and then maybe by then she could help me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but my my wife would love to just work with me and not have a normal job, but she's my sugar mama, and she makes more money than I do, and I would rather her just not leave her job. So, but I'll tell you what, I have a supporting wife. I was up here last night.
Oh, yeah.
I got this label maker that you give me, and for some reason it was printing the labels sideways, and they were so tiny, and I've been cutting out paper for a while because I couldn't figure it out. And she helped me, and we worked on it and tried to figure it out. And I got mad, and I just said I'm done. And I just turned it all off. And then this morning I turned it on. I was like, let me try something, and it was like 2 clicks, and I made it work. So I just need to sleep, and only got 4 hours sleep. But
Yeah.
anyway,
No, I hear you.
so
Do you want
what
to
else we
touch on
gonna talk
anything
about?
else tonight? I think we're pushing close to an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, we're about an hour and a half in. I think that's
I know you got
about.
a bunch of stuff you got to do tonight. I'm not gonna. Well, I'm gonna work on the website a little bit, but
Yeah, but yes, I was working when we started this, and I stopped to
dude,
do
it
this.
sounded like you
So
was on a damn typewriter because your microphone is set up a little different than mine. It was
yeah,
like y'all should have heard it. It was like click 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 click. It sounded like a typewriter for
well,
real.
I'm I can't sit still, so I can't have the microphone on the noise reduction deal,
Yeah,
and I move away, and then it does that silent deal. But the microphone situation has been phenomenal since we figured that out.
yeah, I
So
think so for sure.
yeah, I would rather y'all hear me pick my nose if I do it than to not hear me talking sometimes, or somebody complain about me getting quiet. And one time I was a little loud, and I actually went in the settings and turned my microphone volume down just a
Yeah.
little bit for
Well,
the listeners.
let's just wrap this up then. Let's do a giveaway. What do you want to do? MTC again? You want to do another MTC? Do the
Yeah,
second one?
yeah, we haven't done one of them in a while.
I think we did an MTC, an MPS. Then I got all amped up and gave away T-shirts. Now we got another 2 sets of T-shirts we can give away, and we still got MPS and MTCs.
Oh, I know he's going to be listening. I want to holler at my dude, Dustin Zer at Penske, because he always messages me after we post these the night of and just says something or has a comment about something we're doing. Just what's up, homie? I know you're listening.
And let's go ahead and give Dustin and Penske another shout out because they shoot, I think he jumped on right before we even did a podcast, right? He's
But
like, I want to be involved. And
yeah,
then
we mentioned it, and he was like, "Hey, we're in." Like he
and
was
not
on
even
board.
like be involved. Like they gave us a shock that we're going to give away this year. We're still trying to figure out because I mean it's but what like $1,000 value.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're gonna do so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we have to get to 100,000 downloads. But we're gonna Penske Racing Shocks. Dustin and I both use them. And that's just so cool for them to jump on board right out the gate. Don't even think we had a podcast at that point.
yeah. After the Chris Moore episode, when I told Chris that riding that Hyperbusa had to be sketchtacular, he messaged me and he goes, "Sketchtacular." I'm gonna have to remember that.
Man, man, we was getting ready to wrap it up. That's one thing I'm gonna tell you before. Damn, I wanted to talk about that Hyperbooster. That shit was insane. We can
Yeah, I mean,
save that though.
we could talk about it. So, you
Oh, we're
know,
going right into it. It's going on 2 hours. Talk about that
yeah.
hyper booster because look, I
So,
told Chris too, and I don't know. Maybe you watch more. I don't watch a bunch of Chris or Big Country's video. I just don't have time. And I get distracted, so I kind of got to focus when I am working on something. But I've been trying to keep up with them, when I can. And there's certain things that just spike my interest. So, man, Dustin was texting me after that
So
last
he,
podcast with them, and then I was, in the loop on some stuff. And when he posted that Hyperbusa video, like I stopped. I seen it like probably like 20 minutes after he posted, I watched it. And then I texted him. I was like, dude, that shit was awesome.
yeah, I mean that thing. He actually, that video that he posted was the first time that bike had been down the quarter mile, and he said in the video, "This is the first time this bike's been down the quarter mile." But he did go eighth mile track, and me and him kind of talked clutch tune ups a little bit, and just tried to make it go to A to B, like at least go. And I ain't gonna lie, when he asked me what he should put in that thing, I've tuned a lot of clutches. I was scared to death. I'm like, bro, I really don't know. Like, so we kind of just talked and kind of just come to a conclusion of what to start at. And he went to the little local track and sent me some videos and some info. And I was like, I think that it needs this. And then he goes, what about this? I was like, yeah, that's what I was going to say next.
Two
So
minds
then,
is better than one, right?
yeah, yeah. So he changed that. And then, of course, he had Cecil with him, which, so for a bike, I kind of researched it a little bit, like a stock wheelbase Gen 3 Busa is like 57 inches area, which is retarded short, right? But that thing does have ride height lasers, and it's got the stuff. It's got Cecil involved, so it's got all the gizmos. So that was like a safety net for me, knowing, well, if my clutch don't help perfect, then that's going to back him up. And the first few passes he made, it hit it for sure. I could hear it, but like the last pass, if it hit it, it barely hit it. Now down track, it got into it because that's when it's really adding the power. And that ain't got nothing to do with the clutch. That's done locked up. That's just 50 something inches and a lot of horsepower problems. That's just how it is. But for that bike to have, what was it, 140 something, 60 foot.
So 142 stock wheelbase.
Yeah, to do that on a Gen 2 clutch that people preach that, it's not a street bike clutch, that he rides the daggone motorcycle on the street and roll races it and rides it through town. And then go to the racetrack and you just kind of change the configuration and bam, that makes a motorcycle the best of all worlds. And then he has 500-600 horsepower, which is spectacular. And I was amped up about it. I seen a few people, kind of being a little bit of a hater, about it being the record for a stock wheelbase. Okay, there's probably not been many people try it, but we have to start somewhere, right? So
Well,
if you think you can go faster, go build you one and come do it. That's just the way I look at it.
Well, and like, all right, so it's pretty clear that like Chris and big countries starting to do it too, but they spend a lot of time and money in on their YouTube stuff right now. So,
yeah.
Part of it is I don't want to.
It's marketing.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's just marketing. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a better word, because I didn't want to say I don't want to label their stuff as clickbait, because I don't think it is. And there's
because
there's
the
some
truth.
people that do that. But here's the thing: like, what was the video supposed to be called? Potential record pass for a stock wheelbase drag bike. No, it's a freaking world record or whatever you want to call it. Because I mean, I don't know. Like you said, prove us
if there's
different.
somebody faster, then show me. Exactly.
Yeah.
Build you a bike and come do it. You got to start somewhere. And yeah, I'm sure the bikes that's been at that setup before was probably motor bikes or maybe something with some nitrous.
Well, and I know what he was comparing was kind of like, it was like the super stock record, which he said that's stock engine.
That's the only info
bikes.
You have, right?
But
it's only info
that being
you got.
said, like the main thing is it's stock wheelbase, and that's just hard. That's why I thought the 60 foot was so impressive, because in the first 60 foot, it doesn't matter if you have 500 horsepower or 225.
You ain't using it.
Yeah, because like the stock, the super stock bikes, they're not using all their power in first gear, so that's irrelevant. So that's why, to me, that 142 was incredibly impressive.
And he even said in the video that he wasn't trying to be a puppy kicker. It's just the only numbers they got.
Yeah, exactly. But then once you get into second and third, is definitely third gear on. I mean, after that, if having 500 horsepower,
like that bike,
having,
we all know that Chris can ride a motorcycle, but that bike makes Chris look sloppy because it's so out of control. You know what I mean? Like, it's yanking his legs off the pegs, and he's having a hard time keeping it because it's just fighting him the whole way. I thought it was cool to watch all the angles and the different shots of the. You kind of get a feel of what he's feeling, and just watching from the side up on the hill at Darlington, you could tell that thing was ragged edge, like it was, And I truly believe that the bike will go sevens, no problem. It's
100% I'll
just
go
it's
sevens.
just going to take probably maybe the next time out. I'm sure we'll see it at XDA some, which will be cool. Um, to this day, I've still not even walked up and put my hands on a Gen 3 Busa because I know I'll probably want one. So I just stay far away from them. But that one I might have to go look at because I know I can't afford it. So
Yeah, exactly. Nah, that was super cool. Man, I was excited. Like I said, I texted him. I was like, man, that's badass.
yeah,
And I don't care who you are, that's cool as shit. Um,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's just cool to see.
So I do want to say something. You guys killed it the past few days on subbing and stuff. We really
Oh,
appreciate it.
100%.
Ben had a couple shirt orders go through the podcast website. I appreciate that. I do want to make sure that y'all are aware, kind of almost obligated to say it. Like, share, subscribe,
Yep.
donate, please. It's just $1. It helps. We're getting now to where we know for sure that this is at least covering itself, and that helps us
Where's
like
the
at least
clapping? Come on, man.
sleep.
Give them a round of
Man, I
applause.
turned it off earlier when I dropped my phone. I'm
Damn
sorry,
it.
guys.
Damn it. Okay,
Hey, here
well,
we go.
woo.
Um, but
Yeah, as Dustin said, man, thank y'all so much because we can safely say now that thanks to the sponsors and the subscribers, the overhead's paid for. You guys are paying for that. Now Dustin and I aren't
yeah, we're
making
we're
money, but
square.
but yeah,
No,
but we're
we don't.
enjoying it, so we're having fun.
Yeah, realistically, it ain't even about making money. We're just
No,
trying to
no.
have something fun to do. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie. When I drive to some of these races, I might go back and listen to the first few of these just to remember what we talked about because I got a bad memory. But
I really don't remember half the
it's going
time.
to help me neither. I mean, and we might even have some of these podcasts that we're driving home from races. So stay tuned. We realistically, for me, it would be better to do a race recap podcast on the way home for a race because I will
100%.
remember it and I'll be kind of still emotional about it versus kind of sleeping on it for a week and then talking about it. I might forget something, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to save my tickets if we do it that way because I won't remember what kind of light I had. I just won't.
Hey,
But
we're
we
starting to get a little bit of breakup.
really that
Yeah, a
sounds good
little
on my
bit.
end.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Either
Maybe it's on
way,
mine.
you guys are killing it.
Yep.
And you guys nailed it this past week, just getting us like we hit that goal to cover itself, and that's
Yeah.
nice. Like, and now if we get $1, me and Ben can buy some chewing gum.
Yeah, exactly. Like we said, the whole goal with the subscription thing, and we can't say enough thank you to the sponsors for giving us giveaways. Because
Yeah,
we didn't want to say, hey, give us money. So that's why we're
yeah,
so excited about the giveaways because everybody that subscribes has a chance to win some good prizes for just $1. So, but that being said, thank you guys so much because as Dustin mentioned, the hard cost overhead of the equipment we bought and then also just the applications that we had to utilize and everything with monthly and yearly subscriptions. Excited to say that you guys have that taken care of. So like Dustin said, if we only end up getting another $10 a month from here on out, then me and him can split it and buy each other a cheeseburger.
nice. Or wings at we can get some wings at MIR.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. So all right, let's do a giveaway for an MTC engineering $50 gift certificate and then we'll wrap this up.
10-4.
Like I said, I mean I can hear you now. It just got a little wavy there for a second.
There ain't no telling, man. My wife could have
It's
been
a
downloading a
sign.
movie down there, killing the internet or
Oh
something.
yeah, it's because you're up here. I got you occupied. She got you
Yeah.
occupied. All right, I got to share the screen so that you can verify I'm not cheating.
I mean, if people on this thing think you're cheating,
Well, I don't think they do, but can you see the spreadsheet and all?
yeah, 3 to 67.
Oh, what the heck happened? Oh, I'm scrolled over.
I
Yeah,
see.
so we're 3 to 67, so do rough math. So we got 64 monthly subscribers now. That's awesome. Thank y'all.
Yeah, yeah,
Dustin sees the numbers, got random.org. You ready?
yeah. Generate that, baby. Doot. There it is.
9.
Number 9. That's an early subber.
Oh man, check that out.
I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see that?
No, it's to the left. I can't see it.
Oh, okay, hold on. How about now?
No.
Okay, I don't know. Anyways, congratulations to our buddy Chris Solkowski. I kind of probably butchered his last name,
Oh,
but man, that dude's cool.
yeah, yeah. Hey, if anybody's seen my Facebook post with the Fuel Tech stickers all over the package, it was his.
Oh man, you didn't do that to my man, did you?
Hey, yeah, I did, but I also sent him. He's bought a whole bunch of stuff over the winter. He got a Hard Times T-shirt, and he also somebody pranked me and sent me a Fuel Tech banner, and I sent him that banner.
Well,
So
that's so cool because well, I guess I met Chris a year or two ago. It's a
yeah,
cool dude, super nice. He's just one of those guys you meet, and he loves racing, loves being out there. And look, he was also the first non $1 winner. Chris has signed up for $5 a month. So thank you, Chris, for supporting us. But look, we had the first three winners had only did the dollar, which is cool. You know, that's all it takes. But
hey, and
we
the $5 one got the good one. He got a $50 gift certificate, so
yeah.
that pays for 10 months.
Yeah, so that's just cool. Like you said, if you want to do more, that's great. And
Yeah,
if not, no
awesome.
big deal. So,
No,
all right. Well, congratulations to Chris. We'll get that emailed up and $50 to MTC. All right, closing out. Shout out to the sponsors once again: Worldwide Bearings, MPS Racing, Penske Racing Shocks, MTC Engineering, Platinum General Services, Manchester Mines, Montgomery Motorsports, Hard Times Parts and Service, Knight Marketing Group, Energy Coil, University of Wind launching in the next 2 weeks, and BMF Components. So thank y'all for providing us the support and really just allowing us to set this whole thing up. It's going great, and we're looking forward to keeping it rolling. So what else you got, man?
the last thing I want to say before I say bye, Hollywood Herrera.
Man, I hope the schedule works out next week. Can't wait to get Gage on here. We'll get him
Yep,
on here
it's gonna be
regardless.
awesome.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Thank y'all for listening, and give us some feedback. Give us some topic ideas because, like I said, we've been good on some episodes of having some bullet points and all, and then others we just have completely
The
winged
ones
it.
we feel sloppy on, y'all like for some reason. So I don't know.
Exactly. All right, y'all. Take care. Have a good one.
Peace out.
See you.